It's a matter of opinion if I'm right, but I'm leaving no for now to go outside, putting chores and obligations on our part.
This first story is about the dad that confront a Dillard employee for using a racial slur to him and his team. So just to give you guys some backstory on what happened, the employee's name is Homer. So the dad and his son, like his family, were out shopping in Dillard's. So from there, the dad went to Homer and asked him where's the changing room. So Homer pointed, the changing room is over there. And as he walked away, he said effing N words to them. Now, the father didn't hear him, but the 10-year-old son, and I believe it was the mother or somebody, another parent, heard him say that. So they went and told the father. He went to the employees and asked them, could they speak to the supervisor? They said the supervisor won't be in until Tuesday. So he let them know what's going on. Then he went back to confront Homer. And when he went back to confront Homer for using the racial slurs and stuff, this is how the interaction went. And I want you guys to see it because he actually destroyed him in a very intellectual way and educated this older white gentleman. So check it out.
My 10-year-old son heard you call me a f***ing. I want you to know this. And it's unacceptable. You shouldn't do that. You're too old. My family has patronized the village for many years. I carry myself with honor. I would never disrespect any human being by calling them outside of their name. That of what you did. You don't know the impact of what you've done to my son. But maybe you were unaware. It doesn't matter about you noticing me. You shouldn't be speaking that way, period. So if you know that, then why do that, man?
All I heard, I thought, because I had hurt my leg, and I said,
You hurt your leg and you said,
no, but I didn't know that. I thought that was all that because I said, my fucking God, or something like that, because I hurt my leg cramped up. But I didn't even know
you were listening to what I'm saying.
I am.
How long have you worked here?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years, and you're acting that way. You don't know what straw could break the camel's back. You don't know.
I know.
But you disrespected myself. You disrespected my family. But I would never do your children or your family or even you or no human being that way. I would never treat anybody that way. But I want you to know, man to man, that shit's not cool. And you don't know what young man. I have grace and honor. And I was raised with morals and values. But I lost a lot. I lost my mother. I lost my mother-in-law. I lost my sister. All that year. You don't know what mental state the next human being could be in. And it wouldn't be a cop. It wouldn't be a security guard. It wouldn't be nobody that could stop me from getting on your ass if I wanted to. You understand? So I want you to know that. Think about that. It doesn't matter about the age. Treat human beings with respect and morals and values. You understand that? Now I have to go home and correct my 10-year-old not to be a damn idiot. Don't act a fool. Don't be like Homer. Homer don't have respect for my kind or any human being. This ain't a black and white issue. This is an idiot issue. And I want it to be addressed. So I told your supervisor, we have everybody heard you say it. So I want the whole store to know you was dead wrong. And I just bought this stuff at Dillard's with Homer working here. I wouldn't treat anybody like that, man. And you're dead wrong. So may God bless you and you keep moving forward and I'll pray for you. Thank you. Peace and blessings.
Wow.
That was phenomenal the way he handled that situation, yo. That was phenomenal. Now, I don't know if you heard in the video, but the excuse that Homer tried to say was in the beginning of the video, you saw the shirts, like the shirt rack. That's where Homer originally was. So when he was by the shirt rack, he said that, like he hit his knee on like some clothes or something like that. So that's why he said, oh damn. Like he said he basically made the excuse saying he hurt his knee and he didn't say that. But everybody out there heard what he said. this is what I will say. And shout out to Tawana in the building and Erica in the building. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys here during this live. The thing is that damn, I lost track what I was gonna say or whatever. But yeah, he basically tried to use an excuse saying he hurt his knee there. But it's like, dude, there was no one around you, anything like that. Well, not no one around you. There was nothing around you for you to hurt your knee, so to speak. And even if you did hurt your knee and you said effing N word, like that's the reason, like you hurt yourself and you're putting the blame on like a black person for you hurting your knee, so to speak. But before I let y'all go, this is what I want to say. For those who want us to be viewed in a different perspective as far as like to everybody, that's how you handle a situation. You don't lash out, you don't beat people up, you don't do all, no, you handle it in an intellectual way, in a manner, something like this, calm and collective, and I guarantee you you'll get different results. Because I tell you this, if somebody come to speak to me and they speak to me like in a very calm and soothing manner on something I did wrong, it's gonna resonate more. Like I'm gonna listen. But when you come at me with vitriol and like yelling and stuff like that, now you're gonna feel you're being attacked, so you're in defensive mode. So this is how I feel we should like approach situations when it comes to people like you feeling you're disrespected as far as in the black community. So what do you guys take on it?
Look, I feel like the dad handled it a lot better than I might have.
Mm-hmm.
I know my attitude. The minute you would have said something to my child, I probably would, Mama Bear would have came out on you. Especially if I don't curse in general around my kid. Like it was a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Like though that might be language that I don't want my 10-year-old to know yet. So that is a problem for me. Two, I'm in your place of employment. One or two things about to happen now. Yes, he went over. I tried to talk to the manager. Manager ain't available. Okay, who
Mm-hmm.
else I need to talk to? But guess what? Your 20-year career in Dillard's about to be over
And just to
because
add to it too, when Dillard's put out a statement, they clearly said our former employee, so they fired him ASAP.
exactly, of course, because in my head, you said that you ain't got no place to go back to. So you done lost your pension.
Mm.
You didn't you ain't gonna be able to make whatever payments you got coming out next month. You're not getting it because
Let,
guess what? That was an at will. Re- think about it. You said something that means you probably said it before. You don't just say it one time thinking you gonna get away with it. I
let
might be
me
the first person that says something about you saying it, but you've said it before.
let me ask you something, because I know you said you know how your attitude and everything is, right? So if you would have approached it in a sense where you was like yelling and everything like that, do you think people around him would have then looked at it as he's the victim because an angry black woman is, could, like, do you think the results would have been different because you're being viewed as the angry black woman and he's an elderly man? You get what I'm saying? So
Correct. It would have totally been different because
so
I know my attitude would have came out. Now, am I going to say I'm screaming at the top of my lungs at him? Probably not. But I felt like you disrespected a 10-year-old one. You use language that I don't use. So if you're using language that I don't use around my 10-year-old, that is a problem. And everybody's going to hear it. Your manager or the manager that's acting on duty, the department head, guess what? I'm gonna go so far as I'm gonna be the one that send the letter because y'all gonna be mad at me because I'm making phone calls. Like I'm gonna find out all of the information. I'm already research queen. I guarantee if it wasn't a former employee, you would have been a former employee at that point because I'm hitting all the marks.
okay, let me, before you go, June, let me just read. Erica said, I thought it was a kid that said that until I saw it was grandpa. Yeah, it was definitely grandpa. I applaud the dad for the way he handled it, because anybody else, he would have been sprawled out on the floor. I agree. That's why, and looking at dude, I'm like, yo, dude looked like he could throw some blows now. But yeah, all right. So yeah, June, what is your take on it, brother?
See, I was agreeing with what Erica was saying, but I don't know. I don't see anything happening if he just get fired. I just see him hating black people more. I feel like if you force him in a class where he has to like sensitivity training and force that on him, and show him the situations, like, maybe like black people go through this, and just make him see what his words can do and how, it can really crush a race. I think that would be more impactful. Yeah, he should lose his job, but nothing's gonna happen. So if I was his boss, believe it or not, I wouldn't have fired him. I'd want him to learn something from that situation.
You know what? That is actually a good take because you can reflect and be like, "Dag, I lost my job over this." But it doesn't mean that you really like understand what you did because your whole thing is I lost my job. But if you kept your job, you get what I'm saying? Like the message, the way it was delivered, and it seemed like he like it hit home because when you listen to the back and forth that they were having, like you could tell Homer was processing what he was saying, like like taking it in. So yeah, I think I mean, inside of me is saying yes, fire him, but I
Me
can
too.
understand your dynamic on what you're like, where you're coming at. Where it's like, if you didn't fire him, make him take sensitivity classes and stuff like that, it probably would have resonated more. Where he's more educated on the matter. You get what I'm saying? But I don't
Which,
know.
look, I understand that, but you also have to look at it on a business standpoint.
Hmm.
On a business standpoint, he didn't already did this once. So that means he's now a liability. That means other people are going to start coming into this store challenging him to the
Mm,
point where they may, think about it. They're gonna start picking the bear. They be like, okay,
yeah,
you done did this once. I already see your
that's true.
face. I already know where you work at. You
That's
don't
true.
think people looking for come up not gonna come in here and trying to bother this man at this
And
Let
point?
you
me ask
know,
you,
go on.
if they allow, if they gave the customer the rights to do whatever the customer decide, like you get fired or you stay, like would that be all right or no? Like if
It's I was gonna say it still doesn't because you have to look at it on a legal standpoint. That customer handled that pretty good. But guess what happens if the next customer doesn't?
he'd be on the
So then
floor.
that means that it could have been a fight that broke out in the store. That meant, that could have been damage to the store itself. It could have been damage to that person. He could have been hurt. Think about it. He was an older gentleman. That
Yeah,
the person who came talking to him was younger. So you talking that's medical bills that could have been on both parties' end.
yeah,
That's
I dig
destroyed
that.
property in the store. That's even though yes, you got one employee, but think about it. That's other people that could have been in the area could have jumped in and got their licks on too. Like that situation could have blown up so out of proportion that you don't know what's going to happen.
Here's another thing too. Something that you said that resonated. If he did stay on, and you said people was trying to poke the bear, it probably could have had a opposite effect too. Because now you might catch blacks who come in and disrespecting him, and then make him. It could make him do one or two things: say, "Dag, I really messed up," or "See, this is why I hate them."
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I can see both sides. I can see both sides of the situation, but yeah, that was definitely straight up racist though. Like no matter how you slice it. But kudos to that brother, man, because he handled it. He handled it like a straight up G. If you want to say somebody handling something like a G, to me, that's a G.
that was perfect.
You feel me? That's a G. Not a person who's gonna go up there, knock somebody out, and you got knocked the F out, and nah. You handle it like a G because you actually turned the other cheek and educated this man
No, but
on his wrongdoing.
with what you just said, the person who hits him, that's kind of like being like you had to get it out of you. So you being selfish. But with him, what I noticed, he was thinking about the future people who interact with this dude. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what I like. Where he's like, the impact you caused my son. Like,
Yes.
yes, he could have grown up to hate white people because of you. And
Yes.
so I
Or
like that
think
he
about
did that.
or think about the other aspect. His son was right there. His reaction could have been totally different if his son was not right there.
True,
How do I explain as your dad? I
true.
I got
Here,
steam coming out my ears, and then I reacted.
here's
Now you
another
have to
thing.
explain that to your 10-year-old.
Here's another thing that you gotta look at too.
Okay,
He just basically taught his 10-year-old son you don't gotta handle things with violence. You could
facts.
talk stuff out.
That's true.
You feel me? So that was a very educating process all around. So kudos to that brother.
It's a matter of opinion.